The greatest advice for hard times and new beginnings is this: do not misinterpret the season you are in as a sentence on your life. What you are walking through is not who you are, it is what you are being shaped for. Hard times have a way of making you feel like God has gone silent, like heaven has closed its doors and left you to figure things out alone. But silence is often the sound of something sacred being formed beneath the surface. Seeds grow in darkness not because they are forgotten, but because they are being prepared to break ground. You have to understand that pressure is not proof of punishment. Pressure is proof of purpose. Nothing valuable is formed without resistance. The weight you feel is not there to crush you, it is there to clarify you. Hard times expose what cannot go with you into the next season. They strip away habits, mindsets, and dependencies that would collapse under the responsibility of where you are going. Sometimes what feels like loss is actually relief you do not yet recognize. New beginnings do not usually arrive with applause. They come quietly, often disguised as endings. You mourn what was familiar, even when it was draining you. You miss what you prayed to escape, simply because it was known. But the greatest mistake you can make is trying to drag yesterday into a tomorrow that requires new strength. You cannot step into a new beginning while gripping an old identity. Let go does not mean you failed. It means you are faithful enough to trust that God is not finished. Hard times teach you how to listen differently. When everything is comfortable, you listen casually. When everything is shaking, you listen carefully. That is when direction becomes clearer. That is when purpose becomes louder than pain. Do not rush the lesson just to escape the discomfort. What you learn now will protect you later. What you endure now will become the testimony that steadies someone else who is losing hope. Here is the advice you need to carry. Do not hurry your healing and do not delay your obedience. Heal honestly without pretending you are stronger than you are. Cry if you must, rest if you need to, ask for help if the weight is too heavy, but obey decisively. Take the step even when you feel unqualified. Move even when fear is speaking louder than faith. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the refusal to let fear decide your future. New beginnings require new vision. You cannot see tomorrow with yesterday's eyes. Adjust your expectations. Some doors will close without explanation. Some people will walk away without apology. Let them go. What is leaving is making room. What is ending is clearing space. God never subtracts without intending to multiply, but multiplication requires empty space to grow. Hard times will either harden you or humble you. Choose humility. Humility keeps you teachable. Humility keeps you flexible. Humility keeps you aligned with purpose. When you stay humble, you stay positioned for grace, and grace is what carries you when strength runs out. So take heart. This season is not your burial, it is your planting. This pain is not your conclusion, it is your transition. The same God who allowed the storm has already prepared the shore. Walk forward even when your knees are shaking. Trust that what feels like breaking is actually becoming. Hard times have a way of convincing you that this moment is permanent, that the pain you feel now has written the final chapter of your life. But the greatest advice you can receive in a season like this is to remember that difficulty is a visitor, not a resident. What you are facing is not here to stay, it is here to shape you. Storms do not come to destroy the destination, they come to strengthen the traveler. If you could see what this season is producing, you would stop calling it a setback and start calling it preparation. There are moments when life presses so hard that you begin to question your worth, your calling, even your faith. But pressure has never been the enemy of purpose. Pressure reveals where the real strength is. It squeezes out what was hidden and exposes what was shallow. You are learning how deep your roots really go. Anyone can shout when the sun is shining, but it takes maturity to stand steady when the ground beneath you is shaking. What you're enduring is teaching you how to stand without applause. New beginnings often arrive wrapped in uncertainty. They rarely come with clarity or comfort. They come with risk. They come with questions. They come with the demand that you trust before you understand. You want assurance before movement, but growth requires movement before assurance. Faith is not knowing how it will work out. Faith is deciding to move even when the path is not fully lit. One step of obedience can change the direction of an entire life. Hard times expose attachments you did not realize you had. You discover what you leaned on, what you depended on, what you trusted more than you admitted. When those things fall away, it hurts, but it also frees you. You cannot carry everything into a new beginning. Some things must be released not because they are evil, but because they are heavy. You are not losing them, you are outgrowing them. There is a version of you that only emerges in difficulty. Strength you never used, wisdom you never sought, patience you never practiced all rise up when comfort disappears. This season is drawing out qualities that prosperity alone could not develop. You are becoming disciplined, discerning, and resilient. What feels like delay is often development. What feels like silence is often instruction without words. New beginnings require courage that is quiet, not loud. It is the courage to wake up and try again when yesterday ended in disappointment. It is the courage to forgive when bitterness feels justified. It is the courage to hope again when hope has disappointed you before. Quiet courage does not announce itself, but it changes everything. It keeps moving even when no one is clapping. You must guard your mind in hard times. What you repeat to yourself will either heal you or imprison you. Speak truth when emotions are screaming lies. Speak possibility when fear predicts failure. You cannot control every circumstance, but you can control the narrative you allow to shape your future. Your words are framing the doorway of your next season. New beginnings do not ask for perfection, they ask for availability. You do not need to have it all together, you need to be willing to learn, willing to grow, willing to trust again. Even broken pieces can build something beautiful when they are placed in the right hands. This season is teaching you how to surrender control without surrendering. Hope Life has a way of testing us in ways we cannot predict. And the hardest seasons often feel like they will never end. The greatest advice for navigating hard times and stepping into new beginnings is to recognize that every difficulty is a teacher and every ending is a doorway. What you are experiencing now is not a punishment, it is a preparation. Every struggle you face, every setback you encounter, every moment of doubt is shaping you into someone capable of handling the next level of your life. Pain has a purpose, even when it is painful to see, and clarity comes not from comfort, but from endurance. When you feel like giving up, remember that growth rarely occurs in ease. Mountains are not climbed on flat paths, and breakthroughs are not birthed in the lap of leisure. Your challenges are not accidents, they are assignments. They are refining you, strengthening you, and teaching you patience. You must stop looking at hard times as obstacles and start seeing them as opportunities to discover what is truly within you. Even the strongest oak was once a fragile seed that had to push through dirt and endure storms before it could stand tall. New beginnings are intimidating because they require faith before facts. You cannot always see the entire path, and that is exactly the point. Faith grows when you step forward despite uncertainty. Do not let fear tell you that you are unprepared, because you are exactly as prepared as you need to be for this next step. God does not call the equipped, He equips the called. Every failure, every disappointment, every moment of waiting has been a part of the curriculum to prepare you for this moment. Trust that your history is not a chain but a training ground. Hard times teach you humility and reliance. When everything is going well, it is easy to rely on your own strength. But adversity forces you to reach beyond yourself. It forces you to cry out for help, to depend on wisdom beyond your own understanding, and to lean into grace that cannot be manufactured. Do not despise the lessons hidden in struggle. They are not there to break you. They are there to awaken your resilience, deepen your character, and sharpen your insight. New beginnings require you to let go of what no longer serves you. Doors that close, relationships that end, opportunities that vanish. These are not losses, they are openings. They are creating space for what is better, for what is meant for your life, and for what will honor your purpose. You cannot enter a new chapter while clutching the pages of the old one. Release is not failure, it is faith. It is an acknowledgement that the best is yet to come, and that your journey is still unfolding. You must also cultivate patience. Transformation does not happen overnight. The seed that falls into the soil does not sprout immediately. It waits. It grows in hidden ways until it is ready to emerge. Similarly, your next season is developing quietly within you. Trust the process even when you cannot trace every step. Persistence in the waiting period ensures that when the time comes, you are ready, resilient, and capable of embracing the fullness of what is ahead. Even in hard times, maintain hope. Hope is not passive, it is a choice. It is the decision to believe in a future that cannot yet be seen, the choice to continue pressing forward when circumstances suggest otherwise. Hope transforms waiting into preparation, struggle into strength, and endings into beginnings. It is the quiet assurance that your story is not finished, and that the very trials you face are forming the courage, wisdom, and faith needed for the life that awaits you. Hard times are universal. They touch every life in ways that feel heavy, unending, and sometimes unfair. The greatest advice for navigating these seasons and embracing new beginnings is to remember that every challenge is shaping you for what is next. Life does not throw storms at us to punish us, but to prepare us. There is a refining process in difficulty, a molding that strengthens character, sharpens focus, and awakens resilience. When you look back on your life, the moments that felt unbearable will often be the very ones that built your strength and defined your purpose. During difficult seasons, it is easy to lose sight of hope. Fear whispers that the struggle is permanent, that the world is against you, that you are not enough. But those thoughts are lies meant to paralyze you. Hard times are temporary, even when they feel endless. They are a classroom where you learn patience, endurance, and faith. You must remind yourself daily that storms do not last forever, and that every trial is producing something greater within you. Even when the sky is dark, the sun is still shining above the clouds. New beginnings are often disguised as endings. A door closes and suddenly the future seems uncertain. A relationship ends and it feels like you are left behind. A job is lost and the ground beneath your feet feels unsteady. Yet these endings are often the exact openings you need. They create space for growth, for opportunity, and for blessings that could not have arrived if the old remained. What feels like loss is often liberation. You cannot step fully into what is next while holding tightly to what is behind you. Release is an act of courage, a declaration that you trust the process even when you do not understand it. One of the hardest parts of difficult seasons is learning to trust when you cannot see. Faith is required not because the path is clear, but because it is necessary to move forward despite the uncertainty. Trust grows in the dark. It flourishes when you step out even though the way is not fully visible. Each step you take builds confidence and clarity. Even small actions, rooted in obedience and perseverance, can shift the trajectory of your life in ways you cannot yet imagine. Adversity also teaches discernment. When everything is smooth, it is easy to follow the crowd or make decisions without consideration. But when pressure rises, your choices become intentional. You learn who and what truly matters, what aligns with your purpose, and what is meant to stay in your life versus what is meant to pass. Hard times strip away the unnecessary and prepare you to embrace only what is authentic and valuable. In the midst of difficulty, you are also discovering inner strength you never knew existed. Patience, courage, humility, and persistence are born in the crucible of struggle. The qualities that are demanded of you now will serve you well in the future. You are learning to rely not only on yourself, but on a higher source of guidance, wisdom, and power. You are learning that setbacks do not define you, your response to them does. New beginnings require readiness of heart and mind. They require letting go of fear, embracing hope, and acting with faith. They require seeing opportunity in the place of endings and trusting that your life is being guided towards something greater than you can imagine. Each step forward, no matter how small, is a declaration that you are ready for the new season. Hard times and new beginnings are interconnected. You cannot fully appreciate the joy of what is coming without first enduring what is. Pain and preparation walk hand in hand. Every trial, every challenge, every moment of uncertainty is building the foundation for your next chapter. Your perseverance, your faith, your courage are all being strengthened so that when the new season arrives, you are ready to receive it fully.